Peace. Welcome to Trade Season. Today, we're going to talk about where to buy crypto. You've probably been hearing people talk about it. You got friends into it, family, seen it on the news, seen it in different advertisements on TV now. You're watching a game, you see an FTX commercial. You're watching an NBA game, you see in Coinbase tagged on the arenas. It's kind of everywhere now. So you're thinking, maybe I'll give this a shot. So we got a few different options for you today. First, we're going to start with Coinbase because it's probably the name you've heard of. It's definitely the first top of mind company, and they're doing a good job becoming what some people refer to as kind of like the Facebook of the space. It's even trading on the stock market now under the ticker coin. So, if you want exposure that way, that's an option. Anyway, very intuitive app. It's probably the cleanest among the options, if I'm being honest here. It's not my personal preference these days, but I am going to be objective and say in terms of the simplest looking, easiest to access UI, it's probably what you want to go with. I will say, just being transparent here, their fees add up. They are probably among the higher on the end in terms of the fees you have to pay with each transaction. And you might not feel it too much at first, but if it's something you're planning to do regularly, which is to say buy crypto, especially if you turn on the recurring purchase option, then that's something you want to consider. Just something to note, Coinbase Pro, which you can log into using the same credentials as you do with the typical Coinbase app, it's a little bit more advanced. As you can see here, if you're watching video, they're showing things that people who trade are used to seeing. So, order books and, the sell flows, and you could set stop limited orders and all that sort of thing. It's a little bit more advanced, but if you get over that initial intimidation factor, the fees are much, much, much lower. Anytime you buy, sell, withdraw, etc., they're much better than the standard Coinbase fees. So that's something to keep in mind if you notice it starts to add up, but you want to keep using Coinbase anyway. All right. Next up, we got Gemini. Now, Gemini, I'm going to be completely honest, that's my personal preference. If you don't know, it's run by the Winklevi, which the plural of the Winklevoss twins. If you watched the Facebook movie back in the days, you saw them portrayed, not necessarily, if you hear them tell it not super accurately, but you see them portrayed in that movie, and they have been leaders in the space. Whether you rock with them or not, I feel like that fact is pretty much undeniable. And Gemini is owned by them, and they do a great job, I think, in terms of, one, providing a broad array of assets, two, being super above board. They've been interacting with regulators and, kind of being a bridge between, traditional finance and the crypto world for many, many years now. And what that means is they have more leeway in jurisdictions that are much stricter, like New York, which never wants to let people be great, but that's another story for another day. They have a lot more leeway in terms of, or at least to my eye, in terms of listing assets and even having this earn feature, which I'll talk about in a second, that other exchanges haven't been successful in doing so in stricter jurisdictions anyway. So anyway, Gemini, if you have the app, they offer all of these different assets, which is amazing. What I love is that both on desktop and laptop, they have it broken out into different buckets here. So you can see what the top movers of the day are, what are the top traded assets, what launched recently. So you're like, oh, they just added Ethereum name service or, spell token, etc. And even more helpful is if you're coming into this like, hey, I've been hearing about DeFi. Like, what are some of the DeFi offerings? Then boom, they have that broken out for you. Uniswap, Chainlink, Aave, etc. Metaverse. Everybody's talking Metaverse. What are you guys offering? Okay, well, we got Decentraland, we got the Sandbox, we got Gala, etc. NFT platforms, we got Engine, we got Gala, we got Super Rare, etc. And of course, you'll see there's some overlap in these buckets, but it's awesome that they have it broken out this way. You know what I mean? So if you're coming into this not knowing what's what, you can dig in, you could click through, get some details, get their brief explanation of all these different projects, and make your own determination, which is really dope. And real quick, before I leave Gemini, what I really would like to mention is, if you're still hesitant about crypto on a whole, but want some exposure, check out Gemini Dollar, GUSD. Now, I'll mention briefly, nothing in this video or any subsequent or prior video is financial advice. NFA, DYOR, do your own research. However, something that is really worth noting, I'm going to come back to this earn mention that I alluded to earlier. So Gemini has an amazing feature where you can effectively stake your crypto and earn interest on it. Now, what's really dope, and why I mentioned in terms of like Gemini Dollar being a great option, whether or not you want to take the leap in terms of buying Bitcoin, though, or anything else, even though I assume that's why you're listening to this right now, is Gemini Dollars is what they call a stable coin. It is pegged to the US dollar. That means it doesn't fluctuate in value in the same way that, like, you know, Bitcoin or Ethereum or Chainlink or Uniswap or any other crypto does. It's pegged to the US dollar. It is stable, hence the term stable coin. And again, you know, Gemini is super above board. To my estimation, you know, you can read through all their documents and such, but especially I know operating out of New York, they have to be even that much more like by the book, you know, super compliant with regulators, etc., federally insured, yada, yada, yada. So if you purchase Gemini Dollar with your US dollars, it is pegged one. Of course, you'll pay a fee because ain't nothing free in America. You know what it is. But, you know, after you do that, then you can earn currently at the time of this recording, 8% interest on those Gemini dollars. I don't know what bank you're with. It ain't my business what bank you're with. You know, whether it's a local bank or you got one of these big B of A, Citigroup, etc. type banks. I'm fairly certain that whatever savings account you have ain't giving you 8% on your money. All right, they're probably screwing you. Just saying. So even if you're on the fence still about any other crypto, really take a look at this here. Not financial advice, but I mean that ain't even a decision in my book. That's how I'm looking at it. All right. Now, couple of honorable mentions. FTX US, they also have a global platform, which is just FTX. You know, you may have heard some news a few months ago that FTX bought the naming rights to the Miami Heat arena, which is really dope. Yeah, it's just an awesome option. And you can also buy NFTs. Really cool thing is you can buy both Ethereum based NFTs and Solana based NFTs on the same platform. And at least at the time of this recording, with the Ethereum NFTs, you don't have to pay gas fees. And if you've ever attempted to buy an Ethereum NFTs, or if you heard anyone talk about it, the gas fees are insane when you're doing it on Ethereum. So that's really cool that they're subsidizing it, at least for right now. Available on the App Store or Google Play. Yeah, FTX is an awesome exchange. Would definitely recommend it. I do think they have restrictions, i.e., I don't believe if you're in a state like New York, you can purchase, you can even access the platform. So at least as of right now, that's what I was saying in terms of New York being one of those harder jurisdictions in terms of getting certain approvals. So that's just something to keep in mind. Also, I think in the same boat, Binance.us, they have tons of options in terms of the cryptos they offer, but, you know, you might find the same jurisdictional restrictions. So, you know, look into that, do your own research. But all of these, to my knowledge and estimation, offer better fees than Coinbase. So just something to keep in mind. And real quick, I'm going to give the super simple options. Now, if you don't want to do all of the, learn all the exchange details and, especially if you deal with a more advanced platform like a Coinbase Pro, you don't want to get into all of that. You want to keep it simple, like, yo, I'm just trying to buy some Bitcoin and not even think about it. Then boom, chances are you probably already have something like Cash App. You probably have something like Venmo on your phone already that you've used 1,000 times. You probably have PayPal. And all of these platforms make it super easy. Just to highlight some differences real quick, Cash App, you can only get Bitcoin, at least in terms of crypto. You can get stocks as well, which is really cool. But as far as crypto goes, you can only get Bitcoin right now, I believe in no small part due to the fact that the owner of Cash App is Square and Twitter. And he is what some people will call a Bitcoin maximalist, meaning, he don't really rock with any of the other cryptos like that. All right. So you can buy Bitcoin on Cash App. And what's cool is that I believe that now, I don't think it was always the case, but you can send Bitcoin from the app if you want to. Now, something like Venmo and something like PayPal, you can't send it from the app. So if you want to, send your friend some Bitcoin, send your mom, send, your relative in India, Jamaica, Nigeria, etc., you can't do that with Venmo. So pros are, one, it's super convenient. You probably already have the app. You've split dinner with your friends 1,000 times with it. You've paid rent, etc. And they offer more options than Cash App. So while it won't be as exhaustive as something like Gemini, you can get Bitcoin, you can get Ethereum, you can get Litecoin, you can get a few others. Now, downside is you can buy, you can sell, you can hold, but you can't send. If you go deeper down the rabbit hole, you'll discover that a big part of crypto is the notion of self-custody. You don't have a middleman telling you when and how you can move your money. It's yours. And that's not really possible with outlets like Venmo and PayPal yet. I suspect eventually they will add that functionality that you can move it off the platform into your own privately held wallet. But as of right now, you can just buy it. You can keep it on the platform, which is kind of just like you're basically buying an IOU. They have your Bitcoin, they have your Ethereum, etc. And then you could sell it at a later date. But it's a great option if you don't really want to get too deep with it. You just want a little exposure. You just want to start out, watch, see how it goes, etc., etc. Okay. One last thing that I will note is that if you are using an exchange like Coinbase, you are using using an exchange like Gemini, like FTX, like Binance, etc., etc., what you want, if you have any money on there, first of all, not financial advice, but you should probably not invest anything more than you're willing to use. That's first of all. Second of all, if you do have an amount that you care about to any degree invested on any of these platforms, please go into the settings and enable two-factor authentication. Extremely important. If for some reason your phone or whatever you're using is out of your possession and somebody else has access, then you have a problem. Even if without that, if somehow some hacker and wherever decides they want to make you a target and you don't have two-factor authentication, you're making yourself that much easier to target. So I would say the best, or at least, on this entry level, way to do so is to download an app called Google Authenticator and link it with your exchange, the app on your phone. That's it. It kind of randomly generates a unique code that anytime, if you make it so in your settings where, you got to enter this code every time you send crypto, you withdraw, whatever the case is, and it's randomly generated and it's constantly moving, so it makes it that much more difficult. I would kindly advise against using SMS authentication, because if someone gets control of your phone or hacks your phone or somehow has access, then that's not really the best security in terms of like, oh, okay, well, a code was sent to your text, which I also have access to, so boom, and now I can withdraw your crypto, and that's that on that. So on a very basic level, I'd say at least do this, enable Face ID for every single thing. And you have Authenticator, that's a nice step towards securing your crypto. All right. So we went through Coinbase, went through Gemini, a few honorable mentions. That about covers it in terms of where you can just get crypto and get started. On future episodes, we'll talk about, different cryptos you could purchase, pros, cons, where to buy NFTs, what's the difference between an Ethereum NFT and a Solana NFT, and what's involved in purchasing those, and a few other things. So that's it today for trade season. Thanks for locking in. Check you next time. Peace.